Hello and welcome back to another video on Vedic Astrology. Today I am going to speak about a very important aspect of Vedic Astrology. The topic is transits or Dashas, which is more important. This is often the doubt that comes in the mind of people who have been with astrology for a long time. They have been reading about transits from the internet, and you find it in newspapers. Every magazine carries it, and that is because it is very simple, because it uses just one reference point, your moon sign. So it's very easy to write the results of the 12 rasis, because the only parameter that you need to check is where your moon is in your chart. When you take the horoscope to an astrologer, he has to deal with all other planets. So when in transit, an astrologer deals with just where the moon is in your chart. So he does not consider where the ascendant is, nor is he interested in knowing where your other planets are. Does that mean that the transits are too general and it is always wrong? So these are the questions that we will try to answer in this video. When the astrologer looks at the horoscope, he not only sees the transit of planets from the moon, but also looks into so many other aspects of the chart. He first looks at the overall horoscope and comes to know a great deal about that person. Once he knows that, he will be in a better position to tell the result of a transit. Because let's say if the transit is showing foreign journeys, but the overall horoscope is not showing foreign journeys at all, then why should he speak about foreign journeys? So that is what a smart astrologer would do. So when the client takes his horoscope to an astrologer, he is bound to ask this question. I have read about transits results. I am now having a favorable Saturn transit and also a Jupiter transit, but I'm not going through a good period right now, because I know it from experience, though the transit results are just telling me on the contrary. So when the astrologer looks at the horoscope, he will find that person is going through the Dasha of a planet placed in the 12th, and on top of that he is going through a sub-period of a planet placed in 8th. Despite having such good transits, nothing good has happened for that person. So he begins to doubt whether astrology is a reliable science, or maybe the transit theories are too general and cannot really show anything at all in life. These are the times when the person is likely to ask, out of the two, transits and the planetary periods, which is more important? So in order that you understand this complex problem, I would like to give you an analogy of life with regard to transits, your horoscope, and the dashas. So just compare your life as a journey from one place to another. So you have a destination, and that is what you call as destiny. So you start from birth and then go towards your destiny. You can compare your horoscope to the vehicle in which you are traveling, and no two vehicles are the same. Each one has been given a different vehicle. And the next thing is the road on which you are traveling is comparable to the Dashas and Bhuktis. So the roads can be wide or sometimes too narrow for you to drive, and it can be bouncy, a lot of speed breakers, and a lot of potholes at certain points in time. At certain points in time, so smooth that you love to drive through such a road. So that could be a great favorable yoga dasha, maybe a Raja Yoga period when everything seems to be falling in place, and you're too happy about it. And then you suddenly get into a road which is probably having the effect of, say, a traffic jam. So you suddenly feel that, what happened to me? Why am I slowing down? So this is the Dasha-Bhukti. And what should the transit be compared to? The transit is to be compared to the environment. So as we drive, we have an environment which actually covers us, and that also has an effect on us because for example, if it is a bright sunny day, you love to drive because everything is so clear, vision is there and it is so nice. Whereas if it starts to drizzle, you get a different kind of feeling, and if it is cloudy and it's getting darker and then maybe it becomes night. So all these are comparable to the transits or the effects that the transit of planets is causing upon a person. So we will always treat the transit results as the environment. So suppose you had to ask the driver which is affecting your driving most. Is it the road or is it the environment? Most likely he is going to tell you that obviously the road is the more important thing, because once the road is firm and if it is straight and if it is not having all these bounces etc., or it's not with potholes etc., he says it is going to be a lovely experience driving in that part of the road. So the road obviously has a greater effect on his driving. But at certain times, let's say the environment changes and it becomes like a storm, a cyclone. So obviously at that time the driver is most likely to tell you that the environment is superior to the road condition. So the actual answer to this question is, if the environment is not too bad, then you get more results from the Dashas and Bhuktis. Whereas if the transit results is too bad, for example a 7.5 year Saturn combined with a badly placed Jupiter is enough to cause something of a cyclone, and then it looks like the road doesn't seem to matter at all. So when you are reading your horoscope, there are three things to be kept in mind. First, you have to read the entire horoscope first and find out what is possible and what is not possible, and only then you can move into the area of Dasha-Bhuktis and the transits. We astrologers are not supposed to predict anything which is not first shown from the basic chart itself. If the basic chart shows something, then the astrologer can try to find out when these things are likely to happen. So in Brihad Jataka by Varahamira, he says the combinations for timing the birth of children applies only for those who are capable of giving birth to children. So in the same way, he also says the combinations for marriage, whether happy marriage or unhappy marriage, applies only to those who can actually get married. So for a sannyas it does not apply at all. So unless you know the basic horoscope and its potential, its strength and weakness, there is no way you can predict what is going to happen because of a transit or a Dasha-Bhukti. The Dashas and Bhuktis are actually more important than the transit, but at certain times when the transit gets too bad, then it will have the upper hand. If the transits are too bad and the Dashas and Bhuktis are also equally bad, then it is we can say with 100% certainty that it is really a challenging period. If the transits are too bad, then even if the Dasha and Bhukti is good, it is less likely that you will actually see good results. So except in rare times, always the Dashas and Bhuktis are superior, and bad transits, thank God, does not happen all the time, and it happens very rarely. 7.5 year Saturn happens only once in 30 years, and that too the entire 7.5 years is not likely to be bad. Within that we have approximately 7 transits of Jupiter. It sort of goes up and down, and thank God it is not a continuous bad 7.5 year Saturn for anybody. So Dashas and Bhuktis are likely to give more consistent result than the transits. So if you have a chance to read your horoscope, always get it done first, know your Dashas and Bhukti, and then keep the results of transit on the background as though it is just the environment.